I've actually made a scale version of this that's correct scale for the mark scheme. The first one, the angle you should be able to measure, and so I'll bring it in. This is completely scale, does the diagram quite nicely. Protractor, make sure north is going up, and you always measure clockwise for bearings. So you must be coming round to the right. And the bearing says this is 160 degrees. You're okay with anything between 158 and 162. Okay, so your bearing, first of all, is 160 degrees. Anything under 58 to 162 is accepted. Now this second one is the one where, because you haven't got a proper scale diagram, you will not get this answer. You'll get the 210 I just told you about a minute ago. So I need to take the ruler and I need to measure the distance between London and Paris. And I'll put the ruler down and I measure that as being 7 centimetres. So,
What?
because you have a wrong scaled version of the paper, it doesn't work. That's why I was talking about 4.2 centimetres a moment ago. You should have 4.2 centimetres becoming 210 kilometres. This one, we measure 7 centimetres on the full-size version. 1 centimetre we know is 50. So how do I change from below into upper ones? I multiply by 7. So I multiply the 50 by 7. That's 350 kilometres. That is if you had a proper full-size paper to work from, which you don't. You could do the same thing on here. The version I've given you is 4.2. So you measure 4.2 centimetres. That's still got the same ratio as 1 centimetre is 50 kilometres. So I need to multiply both of those, multiply by 4.2, and that gives me 210 kilometres. You're allowed anything between about 205 and 215 there. Okay? So you two again. This one I'm going to do, and again I've got a scale diagram. You've got a bit of a problem that you'll go off your page probably with the second one. There's my London at the top there, and I need to measure a bearing of 115 degrees. Well, if I put my protractor going straight up, I can get 180 degrees is straight down. So I need 15 more degrees. So rotate your protractor. Put the inner 0 at the top, but we're still adding on around the outside. So I need to go 180 degrees plus 15 to give the bearing 195. It's clockwise always. Okay, so I take the protractor out of the way. Along that distance I need to measure, and this is where you should have the calculation done. They said that Madrid is 1,300 kilometres away. So 1 centimetre is 200 kilometres. We want to go 1,300 kilometres. I need to know what I can multiply by. So I could do 1,300 divided by 200, and that will give me my scaling. So I cancel those. 6.5 centimetres, or use the calculator. Where's my calculator? So I want to do 1,300 kilometres is a unit, is how far I want to go. I divide it by the kilometres part of the scale. And if it was a funny number, I would multiply by the map scale size, but in this case it's 1. And I'll get 6.5 centimetres. An alternative is to say, what distance do I want to do? And then do the conversion in terms of this unit. I want to go 2 centimetres, I want to get rid of kilometres. 1 centimetre is 200 kilometres, and I can type that into my calculator and do it. 1,300 multiply by 1, divide by 2, 6.5 centimetres. So you've got you haven't got the wrong scale, you just won't be able to do 6.5 centimetres on here. Well, you can't do, it has to be 6.5. You've got no other thing you can do on this. But 6.5 puts my Madrid here. And I'll just put a quick line in to connect the two up. Okay, so there's Madrid. That will get me my marks for that question. Let's get rid of them. So, next page. There are twice as many boys as girls. So, boys, girls. There are 2 boys for 1 girl. How many groups are there altogether then? Total is 3. I want 27 pupils in total. So the total is not boys, it's not girls, it's the 2 things put together. So there's 27. How do I change 3 into 27 by multiplying?
Multiply by 9.
Okay, multiply both these numbers by 9, gives me 18 and 9. Check the numbers add up to 27. Yeah, it worked. Alja. Next one is 28. Okay, this one's slightly different. There are 2 more boys than girls, so if there was the same number of boys and girls, it would be 14 and 14. If I take 1 more boy, the total still needs to be 28, and that's 13 girls. So that's still 28. Now I've got a difference of 2. Difference between these is 2. That's where your 2 numbers come from, 15 and 13. We add a boy, we've got to have 1 less girl. The gap is now 2. It gets wider by twice the amount you're changing by. Okay. The ratio of boys to girls is 1 to 2. There are 9 boys. So ratios, boys, girls, total.
3.
So 1, 2 and 3. The ratio, the number of boys is 9. So we've got 9 boys. We need to work out the number of boys and girls. I'll multiply the top line by 9. So I'm going to get 9, 18, 27. So there are 9 boys, 18 girls. Okay, simple ratio problems. Right, this is question 7. Question 7, you need to make a pentagon, which means we've got 5 sides, we need 5 lines, and we need an area of 14. Now, if we look at this, it's starting off to give us a square, and that square would be 16 centimetres squared. So if I was to make this into a square, I need to lose 2 squares and add a side. Well, one way to lose 2 squares is take out that one and take out half of the next 2. It has to be with a single line. That's why it has to be the 2 either side. I can't go anywhere else. So that one is the simplest solution. There are other solutions involving coming down here and up, and a shape going up there and down. But that is the only one that I think is sensible for you to find easily. So we have taken away 2 squares. Pentagon of 5 sides, need to have all of them. One more for this one. Right, this is a ratio problem. Okay, this is a ratio question again. This one's actually to do with money conversions. It's reasonably straightforward to do as a ratio though. What we're trying to do is find out which is the greater amount of 2 amounts in different currencies. So effectively we need to convert them into one currency, and they're giving us the conversions to turn into pounds. So we're going to convert them into pounds. Start off with Australia. And Australia, we have the ratio in pounds is 270 Australian dollars. I want to have $1 million. So I need to think, how do I convert from 2.7 into 1 million? I multiply by 1 million and divide by 2.7. So what do I want to go to divided by what I want to go from, if this is a 1. If not, I've also got to multiply by a 1, which is where the fraction technique comes in, and I'll show you that in a moment. So 1 million, use a calculator. We want 1 million divided by 2.7. That didn't do a point on it. Point. That's it. And 0 if you want it on the end. And that says there are 370,370.704. So it must keep going 370, 370 by the looks of it. So this is 370,370 pounds, 0.37 pence. To do the French, you could do the French in the same way and do euros to pounds. I'm going to show you a different technique with it though, using fractions. So with fractions, I want to convert 780,000 euros, and I want to change that into pounds. So to do the conversion, I'm going to multiply it by a fraction. I want to get rid of euros so I can cancel them on the bottom of a fraction, and to give myself pounds on the top. So we've got £1 on top. It's the same as 154 euros. If I type in the calculation 700,000 multiplied by 1 divided by 154, that will tell me how much it is in euros. Euros is in pounds. So 780. Come on, where's this? There we go. 780. 1, 2, 3, and I want to multiply by 1 and divide by 1.54, and that gives me an answer 506,493.51. 506,493.51. And those two are converted. The most money is the French. And the French Open has more money. And check the answer there. I've just realised I missed the bottom of question the previous page. There's a question number 8 in there. So I need to go to question 8 after that diagram. It says use your calculator to work out the following answers. Now the first one has an advantage that it's given us the brackets. And it's put brackets in so I can use that directly. So clear the calculator and put in a bracket, 48 plus 57, close the bracket, multiply by bracket 61 minus 19, close the bracket, press equals, and that gives me 4,410. This second one, the worry with this one is it's got a long division sign, and that long division means that everything on the top must be done before, and everything on the bottom before you do the division. So we wind up putting hidden brackets, or do each calculation separately. So I could do the 48 plus 57, and that is going to be 105, and 61 minus 19 is going to be 42, and I'd have to do that division. So I could do 105 and over 42. Let's check the numbers. 48 plus 57, 105. I'm going to use a memory to store that into a memory A, and I'm going to do the second part, the 61 minus 19 gave me 42, and store that away into menu B. And now if I want to do this division, I can either do 105 divided by 42, or if they're very big numbers, I can do A and alpha B, do the division, and that gives me an answer 2.5. If I do the sum directly with the brackets, so So put brackets around it. You can use the menu to go back up and do previous menu ones. And what I have to do with this one is I need to edit that to change the multiply to a divide. And I get an answer, 2.5 in the same way. This has just edited the two brackets and changed the sign between them from a multiply to a divide. That's the whole of that video finished.